The Bible describes God as holy, righteous, just, and sovereign. These attributes tell us the following about God. 1, God is capable of preventing evil. And 2, God desires to rid the universe of evil. So if both of these are true, why does God allow evil? If God has the power to prevent evil and desires to prevent evil, then why does he still allow evil to exist? Now, look at churches, look at preachers, pastors, whatever you want to call them. Just look at the general population. They're sitting here telling us that God is omnipotent, omniscient, and benevolent. They even claim he's omnipresent. I've always heard that ever since I was a little kid, that God is everywhere at any given moment. So omnipotent, omniscient, and benevolent. So in other words, all powerful, all knowing, all good. All right. And I just wanted to clarify that because I know everyone's not familiar with those words. There's a lot of people that don't know what that means. But I know most of you do. But yeah, when you go to a church, that's the first thing you're going to hear. All right. The first thing they're going to say is God is all powerful and God is all knowing. Those are like the main things you hear. Now let's look at the Epicurus paradox. Every option ends in God either being not all powerful or God not being all good. So that gives us 3 options. 1, God exists, but he's not all powerful, meaning there is something more powerful than him or something else created the universe. 2, God does exist, but he doesn't care about what happens to humans. Pretty much that means praying and going to church is pointless. It has no meaning. 3, God does not exist and something else created the universe. Okay, so it's created by an alien species or something other than God himself because he does not exist. All right, so like I just pointed out, when you hit a religious person with logical arguments like that, they instantly go into denial. And that's happened time and time again, okay? Not just here on this channel, but in real life, okay? They'll call you angry. They'll start name calling like a 5-year-old kid, all right? They'll call you angry. They'll say you're upset about something. They'll say you don't know what you're talking about. Hell, they'll even throw insults at you, okay, for speaking the way I do about God and religion. And I mean, it pains me to say it, but it's mainly my people that do it, okay? My people, melanated people, black people. You can't tell them nothing about God, all right? They know every little thing about God. Every little thing you want to know, they can tell you. I'm in the minority. Those that talk like me, we're in a small percentage. And I'm going to tell you why. Because most black people believe in God. Most black people, they go to church and believe everything the preacher tells them. Like what I told y'all earlier about God being all powerful and all knowing. The overwhelming majority of black people, they believe that to the fullest. And they will argue you down for saying something other than that. When you get those like myself that talk the way I do, you become something like a black person repellent. A black person repellent. Because let me tell you this, when you're black and you say anything about God that is contrary to the narrative, you will be antagonized. But why are they getting mad? That's what I want to know. If they're so confident in God, if they're so confident in what they believe in, then why are they getting mad for someone like myself that challenges their beliefs? You see where I'm getting at? Why are they getting so mad if I'm challenging their beliefs? They claim I don't know what I'm talking about. Well, if that's the case, then why are they getting mad when I present logic and a strong argument? Why? Because it's too much logic for them. The things that I'm saying, it makes too much sense. Too much sense. The logic I use instantly destroys the credibility of what they believe in. And deep down inside, they know what I'm saying is true, but they can never bring themselves to admitting it. But that's cool because, again, they know I'm right whether they admit it or not. That's why they get mad when I present them with a question or a statement that challenges their beliefs. I was talking to this chick a while back, And after she found out I didn't believe in God, she said she never talked to a guy that didn't have any religious beliefs, mainly because her family would have a problem with it. She says she never met a man, a black man in particular, never met a black man, or just any man in general, that didn't believe in God. But she kept talking anyway. But she says she couldn't let her parents find out because they were very religious. And if her parents found out she was talking to a dude that didn't believe in God, then yeah, they would pretty much disown her for that. So she kept it a secret from her family and never let them find out about it. Her family was typical black people, very religious, always in church, okay? They lived at church, and they always put God in everything. So again, it's more polarizing when you're black and you don't believe in God. And I mean, honestly, it's kind of like a double standard, because if you're European, it's more acceptable for you not to believe in God. All right, if you're a European descendant, all right, Caucasian. It's still going to be polarizing regardless, but it's going to be more polarizing if you're melanated, okay, male or female. If you're black and you're talking about you don't believe in God, yeah, a lot of people are going to be put off by that, okay? It's just what it is. So not only do you not believe in God, but you got some strong, indisputable arguments as to why he don't exist. Or if he does exist, then why he's not all loving like they claim he is. And I learned that the hard way. Okay, stuff I'm telling y'all, I learned it the hard way. You want to make a black person cringe? Be black and say you don't believe in God. And like I said, it's like a repellent, because when you tell them that, they don't want nothing to do with you. I'm telling you, like, yeah, they'll avoid you like the plague. If you tell them you don't believe in God, they see that as like the number one deadly sin, okay? And I mean, Caucasian people will cringe from that too, but from what I noticed, black people are worse. I ain't never met a black person in real life that said they didn't believe in God. Yeah, on the internet, you see it all the time on the internet, but in real life, hell nah. So let's go back to the question. Can God prevent evil? Like I said, all you gotta do is just ask questions. When they tell you God is omnipotent, God is benevolent, God is omniscient, just all you gotta do is just let your mind run a little bit and just ask questions. Because when they tell you this stuff, they don't expect you to ask questions. They just expect you to be a sheep, listen to what they say, and then just abide by the narrative. They never expect you to actually think about it and ask questions. So they're sitting here telling me that God is benevolent and omnipotent. And I'm sitting here asking myself, why are there so many children with cancer? Okay, we got 5-year-old children with cancer by the thousands. Surely if this God is so benevolent, okay, all loving like they claim he is, and he's omnipotent, he has unlimited power, then why do we have children suffering? I mean, it's 1 + 1 = 2 logic. We just got to ask ourselves these questions. You know what? Let me be God. Let me be God for one day. Give me all of God's powers. All right. Make me benevolent. Well, I don't know. Just give me all of God's powers. All right. Make me omnipotent, omniscient. Okay. All knowing. If I knew a 5-year-old child had cancer and was suffering, and I could make it stop at the snap of my fingers, I'm going to do it. Okay. I'm going to do it. If I got God's power, if I had the power to snap my fingers, okay, I'm omnipotent, and I'm omniscient too. And what else they say? Everywhere, he's everywhere at the same time, so he's omnipresent. I mean, even just being omnipresent and omnipotent alone, if I'm everywhere at the same time, so I see what's going on. I see all these children suffering with some illness. If I can just snap my fingers and end it, I'm going to do that, okay? I'm going to do that. Okay, but this God that they force down your throat, I don't see that happening with him. I'm just telling you what I would do if I had these powers. I had all these magnificent powers. I'm going to use those powers effectively. I'm going to use it for good. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm going to put it to good use. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm actually going to do something with it. I'm not just going to sit back and watch people suffer. Know damn well I can make it stop, and I don't make it stop. You see, and again, when you hit people with logic like this, they go into denial, or they start throwing insults at you. Okay, because it's just too much for them to comprehend. Make me God for one day, and No more children is going to suffer from cancer because I'm going to stop it. If I had the power to do it, I would stop it. And you can get any psychopath, any murderer, whatever. I'm sure they will have far more compassion than this God that most people worship. If they could stop children from suffering, I'm sure they would if they had the ability to do it. More so than this God that people worship. You can be a low down, dirty shame, whatever, just a low down, despicable person, and they'll have more compassion than this God people worship. All right, but yet and still they claim they're so holy, so righteous, but you're worshiping a being that's not benevolent. Even if he did exist, let's just assume God does exist. He's not benevolent like they claim he is. Okay, and anyone with one eye and half a brain can see this. Most of you are smart. All right, and I'll have to explain this to you, but you already know that. If he does exist, let's just assume he does. He's not good. Okay, he's not. Or he's not what they crack him up to be. Because I just told you, if he's so good and he has the ability to make things stop, then why don't he do it? So it's one or the other. All right, he's either, like Neil deGrasse Tyson said, God's either not all good or not all powerful. And that's true. Okay, and like I said, I had literally hundreds of people come in on that video and they were saying all types of nonsense about not only Neil, but myself as well. And, most of those videos I took down because it was just too many ignorant people. Religious people are very ignorant. So y'all ask why I deleted some of my videos. That's why, because so many religious people was coming in. It was all types of people coming on those videos. I didn't want to entertain none of that. So I got rid of all those videos. It was just, even people that weren't religious. Some of these anti-nihilists are fucking retards too. I'm going to tell you straight up. A lot of them are fucking retards. And they're just as bad as the religious people. And you got like all these other groups. They got all these different names for all this different stuff. So that's why I took down most of those videos, because it was just too much ignorance. But back to what I was saying. God's not what he's cracked up to be. And I'm not just bashing black people. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just calling out what I see. It's white people too, okay? Caucasian people too. But like I said, mainly black people that's doing this, When you talk like me, they have a problem with it. So again, like I said, let me be God for one day. Just one day. Give me his power for 24 hours. No child is going to have cancer. No child is going to suffer. And not just that, I mean, whatever else makes this world miserable. Natural disasters. Okay, tsunamis, hurricanes. I'm going to stop it, because clearly that's not benefiting the planet. How is a hurricane benefiting the planet? It's not. It's just creating more misery. How does a tornado benefit the planet? It doesn't. A tsunami, an earthquake, whatever. Those things do not benefit this planet. It does not benefit our species. I'm going to make it stop if I'm God and I have the power to do so. And then when things like that happen, they just say it was God's will. They never have a strong argument. They just don't. They'll say it's God's will. You don't understand God, or they'll say you're not smart. They told me I'm not smart enough to understand God, when really they're the ones that's not smart enough. They live in denial. When you hit them with stuff like this, they live in denial and start name calling like a 5-year-old kid, like what we used to do in kindergarten. Start name calling. All right, so here's 5 things I came up with about God. And again, going back to the original question, can God prevent evil? All right, that's the topic of this video. Can God prevent evil? Here's 5 things I came up with. 1, okay, and this is the most obvious explanation. Number 1, there is no God. There is no God, point blank, period. 2, there is a God, but he really doesn't care about what happens to the world. Okay, like what I said about the hurricanes and all these children suffering. All right, there is a God, but he doesn't care. 3, there is a God, and he's a good God, but he chooses not to interfere in the affairs of mankind. 4, there is a God, but he's not around anymore. So pretty much he created this planet for whatever reason. And now he's an absentee, okay, like the absentee landlord. He's just gone, nowhere to be found. This is his creation, but he just abandoned it pretty much. 5, there is a God, and he's a malignant God who enjoys making people suffer or enjoys experimenting with mankind. Kind of like if they were hamsters, okay, lab rats. You just want to experiment with them and see what they do to each other. They start wars, they kill each other, stuff like that. Those are my 5 reasons. And like I said, there's always a weak defense amongst religious people for God's obvious failure to stop human suffering. And their argument is always A, God is testing people, B, letting them exercise free will, or C, he's working in his mysterious ways. And that's why I always hear God works in mysterious ways. When they have, okay, so you hit them with logic. When they can't reciprocate that logic, that's what they say. God works in mysterious ways, or he's exercising free will, or my bad, he's letting humans exercise free will. That's their favorite phrase, free will. They always toss around this free will thing. When all else fails, that's the first thing they're going to throw at you, this free will thing. What does a 5-year-old child getting cancer have to do with mankind exercising free will? It doesn't. I understand starting wars and all this, but if a 5-year-old child gets cancer, a 5-year-old child just got that cancer, okay? What caused that child to get cancer? You see what I mean? And then they'll say, God works in mysterious ways. Well, how is a 5-year-old child suffering God working in mysterious ways? If that's so, then you need to question the God you worship. It's that simple. See? So, yeah, their defense is always weak and it's easily destroyed by someone like me. And like I said, it doesn't explain why 9 million children under the age of 5 die every year. Okay, did you know that? Yeah, that actually happens. 9 million children under the age of 5 die each year. What testing do they need? I mean, what free will do they exercise? What sins did they commit? See? So like these religious people, they try to have an answer for everything. God works in mysterious ways, free will. Then they'll throw in Satan too. They'll throw in Satan, you know, all this nonsense. That's another thing they talk about. Satan. If God's the ultimate creator, then he created Satan too, right? I mean, that's the most logical explanation I can come up with. If God created everything, he created Satan too. If God's all knowing, he knew what Satan's going to do before he do it. You see, so there's nothing they can say that you can't easily defeat with just a little bit of logic and common sense. And that's why they get mad. They'll get mad. They'll say you're dumb. They'll say you're not smart. They'll say you're going to hell. That's their favorite thing to tell people. They'll say you need God. Yeah, they'll say you need God. They'll just, yeah, like I said, they'll act like a little kid in kindergarten and start calling you names. Yeah, this so-called all-powerful God will be responsible for everything, okay? Good, bad, and in between. Yeah, and they try to justify that this God is all good and God is all powerful. And they jump through all these hoops to attempt to prove it to those like myself, but they fail each and every time. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. Can God prevent evil? Apparently not. Apparently he's evil himself. Okay, he's either evil himself, he can prevent evil but choose not to do it, or he just don't exist at all. Like I said, it really boils down to that. It's really that simple. When they tell you all this nonsense, all you really gotta do is ask questions, because most people, they're just gonna believe what they're told. They're not gonna ask questions. Those like myself, I'm gonna ask questions. I've been doing this since I was a kid, teenager, when I was going to church. They used to get up there and talk all that nonsense. I wanted to know more, and they would get frustrated with me for asking questions, because they're not supposed to ask questions. And again, church is just a business, okay? That preacher, let me tell you this about these preachers. They up there preaching all this stuff about God, right? Most of them preachers do not believe what they're preaching. Did you know that? Yeah, that's true. Most of these preachers probably think the same way I do. But here's the thing. They know most of the sheep, okay, most of the population, they're going to congregate and pretty much pay him to hear something good about God. So that's why these preachers get into this business, because they know it's a lucrative business. There's a lot of money to be made just lying to the people. And I'm not saying this is the case with each and every preacher, but I mean, a lot of these preachers, they don't believe what they're up there telling the people. They're just up there telling these people what they want to hear. And they're making oodles of money doing it. And again, church is a business. That's all it is. And a lot of these preachers, they go into that business just for the sake of making money. And the first thing they want to tell you is money is the root of all evil. You know, they have the people believing that, but they don't mind passing around that collection plate to get the people's money. So that right there is a huge contradiction, because they're saying money's the root of all evil, but they always want to pass around that collection plate and get money. You see what I mean? But yeah, that's all I got for this one. Let me know what y'all think. I know y'all got something to say about this. So yeah, just leave a comment and we'll chop it up. I'm gonna be making more videos, so stay tuned for that. Some of y'all sent emails. I ain't forgot about y'all. I'm gonna make some videos next week. All right, so I'll catch y'all on the next one. Y'all be easy. Peace.